Hi everybody and welcome to my latest YouTube video. Welcome to everybody that's in the VC, YouTube land, and of course Beatles collectors and fans all over the world and record collectors from all over the world. This is Beatle Dave, your friendly neighbourhood record collector, calling to you from Derby in the United Kingdom. This is basically part 2 of the video I did last week on some recent singles that I got for bargain price. There's multiple copies in this. There's a lot of Paul McCartney wings as well. I don't think there's anything absolutely mega rare, but for what I paid for it, I thought, you know, it's still worth having a good look at it. And at the end of this video, I'll tell you roughly why I bought these 60 odd singles. I think there's actually more than 60. I think there's more like 80, to be honest. So without ado, welcome everybody. I hope you're well and dandy, as we say, or used to say, in the UK. So we'll kick off. So if you're sitting comfortably, we'll begin. I will put my grandad glasses on, although I hate putting these on. I think it makes me look old, but some people say it makes me look intelligent or distinguished. I don't know. Actually, it helps me to see a little bit. So first one is Paul McCartney and Wings. Let 'Em In, not in the original company sleeve. Well, I don't think it is. This was off Wings at the Speed of Sound from 1976. And on the B side, we've got Beware My Love, which is actually quite a good song. Again, in really, really nice condition. And what I paid for these, I think we worked it out at roughly 50 pence each. But to be honest, I don't even think it was that much, because I've counted them. I think there is more than what I said there was. Like I say, I think there is more, like 80. Good condition, I'd say that is very good plus. Some people would say excellent. Next up, we've got Paul McCartney, Pipes of Peace. Again, sort of quite an overlooked song in Paul's catalogue, I think. A lot of people say it's a bit of a crap song, but I've always liked it, and I think the video for this is absolutely brilliant. And this is, oh, this is a weird one. This is on a blue light plastic injected label, where usually they're on the black and silver parlophone. I think it is UK though, isn't it? I think it's a UK copy. As far as I know, it's a UK copy, because it's got the British or the UK catalogue number of R6064. The B side is So Sad, by the way. It's not So Sad like it's a rubbish song. That is the name of the song, So Sad, which again is an okay song. Pipes of Peace, and Say are that outstanding tracks on the Pipes of Peace album, aren't they? Although I'd say this one's slightly better. Like I say, the video to it is absolutely amazing. Well, I think it is. And again, yes, it does need a dust over, because I have cleaned some of these, but not all of them. That one might be worth checking out. It might be worth a little bit more, don't know. It's not going to be worth a fortune, though, is it, in all honesty? Then we've got Say, Paul McCartney and Michael Jackson. Massive, massive worldwide hit, wasn't it? Again, quite a catchy tune. See, this is the label what I know Pipes of Peace, to be honest. This sort of label, the old style parlophone labels, R6062, and this was actually written, wasn't it, by Paul McCartney and Michael Jackson, taken from the album Pipes of Peace, Paul McCartney and Michael Jackson, 1983. God, seems a lifetime ago, doesn't it? And the B side of this is Ode to a Koala Bear. Again, lovely looking record. Doesn't look like it's had a hell of a lot of play, to be honest. Probably not worth a great deal anyway, is it? But probably worth more than what I've paid for it, put like that. And it's nice to have it in the picture sleeve. Although, to be honest, this picture sleeve's nothing fantastic, is it? Well, I don't think it is. I'm going to mix these up a bit, because it seems to be all Paul McCartney at the minute. So, or shall I just do them as they are? Yeah, sorry, I'll do them as they are. So if you don't like Paul McCartney songs, maybe you should skip a bit further into the video, but hopefully you do all like Paul McCartney. Little fact, if you've only just come across this little channel, is I'm actually distantly related to Paul McCartney. Is my second cousin 8 times removed, or my 8th cousin twice removed, or something like that. I don't know, so it's very, very distant anyway. One of the most fantastic songs Paul McCartney ever recorded, We All Stand Together, and Paul McCartney in the Foggy Chorus or something, which, yes, it's not the best song Paul ever wrote, in all honesty, but he had just acquired the rights to the Rupert the Bear, hadn't he, when he did this, and I think his idea was to do this single and then to do an animated film, which I think some of this is actually from, but I don't think the film ever got made, did it? I don't think it did anyway. So what we got? So side 1 is We All Stand Together, Paul McCartney in the Frog Chorus. Bum 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 bum. Win or lose, sink or swim, one thing is certain, you'll never give it. You all know the song, don't you? I don't think it's as bad as what some people make it out to be honest. Yes, it's not a Paul McCartney classic by any means, but you know, I think it would have actually worked in a film. I do think it would have worked in a film. And then the B-side is We All Stand Together humming version, and that's Paul McCartney in the Fitzley Froglets or something. Whether the film ever got made, I don't know. Susie Sue absolutely loves this song. She thinks it's the best thing Paul McCartney ever did. And she wanted it to be played for our wedding song when we got married. No, she didn't. She absolutely hates this song, to be honest. But it's each to their own, isn't it? Like I say, it's part of Paul's catalogue, so I can appreciate it for what it is. Yes, it's not the best song he ever wrote, but if this film was ever made, I think it would have been a brilliant opening to that film. I don't think the film ever got made, did it? Maybe it did, I don't know. So maybe some of you out there have seen this film. I don't think it ever got made. I just think they made so many like snippets of it, didn't they? But you know, it could have been something nice. It's a kiddie song, isn't it? It's a kiddie song like Yellow Submarine, really. No More Lonely Nights, another one that fans like to slag off and hate. And the album this came from, Give My Regards to Broad Street, the critics hated it and the fans hated it. But to be honest with you, I watched it over a year ago on YouTube, and I actually didn't think it was that bad. Yeah, there's not any great acting in it as such, but the story's okay. The story's okay, and there's some nice segments of Paul with Ringo and Barbara Beck and Linda and things like that in it, and you know, and it does actually do some versions of a few Beatles songs in it as well. So you've got what we got? No More Lonely Nights ballad, which is like the opening of the album. It's actually quite a nice song, to be honest. And the B-side is No More Lonely Nights play-out version, which is more like a up-tempo sort of version of it. All I'll say, in my opinion, and again, this is my opinion, bearing in mind I'm a Beatles fanatic, and I love all of the Beatles, you know, as soloists as well. This is nowhere near as bad as what people make it out to be, and the film that it's from, and the album it's from, is nowhere near as bad as what the critics made it out to be. If people actually took the time to watch it, yes, they might not love it, but they could probably appreciate it for what it is, which is Paul basically just trying to do a little bit of a movie. It was never going to be a great success, to be honest, but there's some fantastic people in it. I mean, Trey Ullman's in it. Sir Ralph Richardson's in it as well, I think, if I remember rightly. Obviously, Ringo's in it. Barbara Beck's in it. You know, yeah, it's what it is, and it's what Paul wanted to do at the time. If you like it, you like it. If you don't like it, you don't like it. But I've always had a little bit of a soft spot for the album. Give My Regards to Broad Street, because I don't think it's anywhere near as bad as what people make it out to be. But that's it. We'll move on. Next, we've got Once Upon a Long Ago, which was classed as like Paul's comeback sort of like single, wasn't it? For when he did, was it All the Best? Yeah, All the Best. But it'd never really been away, had he? So catchy tune though. It was a catchy tune. And if I remember rightly, the video was quite good because it ended up with him playing his guitar on top of a mountain or something, didn't it? And on the back of that is Back on My Feet, McCartney McManus. Now McManus is Elvis Costello's real name. Once Upon a Long Ago, 1987. This has got like a razor sharp edge as well. Knife edge, do they call it? I will show the labels because obviously if you live in other parts of the world, i.e. not the UK, you probably got this on Columbia or Capital or something like that, but in the UK we got it on the good old Parlophone label, although you do get the MPO logo. I can't remember ever hearing that Back on My Feet. I probably have, but Once Upon a Long Ago, again, great song. Deserved to be a bigger hit than what it was. I don't think this was actually released in America, was it? Don't think it was, but please correct me if I'm wrong. Then we've got Press, from the album Press to Play. Again, it's an album that so-called fans like to rip to shreds. It's not that bad an album. It's not the greatest album he's ever done, I will admit, but there's some nice songs on it. If you haven't got it and you're thinking of getting it, you can pick it up pretty cheaply, to be honest, on LP, on vinyl. Don't know about CD. I should imagine it was released on CD. And you know, Press itself is quite a good song. Quite different to what he had been doing up to this point. But like I say, I've always liked it. But with anything to do with the Beatles, it's like anything, you know, people think I don't like Obla Di Obla Da. I do like Obla Di Obla Da. I just don't think it's the best song that's on the White Album. You know. Nice cover. When was this from? 1986? Yeah, 1986. Like I said, I mean, you think these are like his new songs, but they're not, are they? I mean, these are, you know, getting on for 40-year-old, aren't they? Cracking song though, honestly, cracking little single that. What was on the B side? Did they say what was on the B side? Back on My Feet, was it? No. The B side is It's Not True, which is actually quite a good song and is probably on par with Press. Yeah, actually that is a good pairing. I'd forgot how good that single was actually. Ace I Guess I Love, but that It's Not True could have actually been, that could have been a double A side. In all fairness, it probably should have been a double A side. But again, that's just in my opinion. I'm just a fan, you know, collector. Then we've got Only Love Remains. And the B side of this is Tough on a Tightrope, which was co-wrote with Ian Stewart. Sorry, Andy Stewart of 10cc fame. Again, 1986, so this is off the Press to Play album. That looks like it's hardly ever been played. Yes, it is a little bit dusty, but there's no spindle wear at all. McCartney Stewart. Eric Stewart, isn't it? It's Eric Stewart. He was in 10cc, wasn't it? That's got to be Eric Stewart. Yeah, Eric Stewart, sorry. Old age. Or I was having a senior moment, folks. Great single, and like I say, if you haven't got the album, you know, if you're not going to be paying silly money for it, you should easily be able to pick it up for under £10, I would have thought. But that Only Love Remains is Paul going into like his ballady stuff. It's very much in the like mould of Eleanor Rigby or Another Day or something like that, you know. Cracking album, cracking single though, to be honest. Then we've got, I can't remember this one being a single, to be honest. It's Paul McCartney, All My Trials. And the B-side is Sea Moon, but it's not the Wings version. Apparently All My Trials is a traditional arranged by McCartney. I can't say I can remember this, honestly. Produced by Paul McCartney, Bob Claremont and Peter Hudson. Mixed by Bob Claremont. Remixed by Matt Butler from the album Tripping the Light Fantastic Highlights. So it must be a live. Is it a live song then? I don't think. Can you see that? Sort of newer, sort of like Parlophone label. I know I haven't got Tripping the Life Fantastic anymore. I used to have it. I used to have it on the triple album. Then there was a Highlights album, wasn't there? Which this is from, isn't it? This is from the Highlights album. But I can't ever remember it being a single. 1990. I don't know. Perhaps it's when I went off buying, you know, I wasn't buying singles anymore. Nice labels though. Nice Parlophone label. How come no one older than me ever seems to understand the things I want to do? I will try and make this as quick as I can, but if it goes on, you know, long, it's going to go long because I'm just going to keep on going now. Next we've got, what's this one then? My Brave Face. Where I can't find my brave face, my brave face. This was from Flowers in the Dirt, wasn't it? Quite an unusual like cover though, isn't it? And on the back, very, very plain. See it better like that. And this was originally £1.79 from Woolworths, folks. Can you remember buying? I used to always buy records from Woolworths. I used to think they had quite a good selection, to be honest. And the Beatles albums were always pretty cheap in there. Yes, I know there was reissues and things, but yeah. Oh, this is a nice one. This is a nice label. This is like mixing the old with the new sort of thing. Because it's black and silver, but it's the new style. Isn't that nice? That's actually quite nice. I think that might be one to keep. The B-side is Flying to My Home, which I can't say I've ever heard, to be honest. 1989 this one is. Produced by Paul McCartney. Engineered by the late, great Geoff Emerick, the B-side is. My Brave Face, produced by Paul McCartney. Mitchell Foam, Neil Duffman or something, engineered by Neil Duffman. So that must have been one of the last, this B-side, Flying to My Home, must have been one of the last times Geoff Emerick worked with Paul McCartney. If you don't know who Geoff Emerick is, folks, he was a mixing engineer and he worked on a lot of the Beatles albums. Very, very clever chap, actually. In fact, I did have a bit of a conversation with him once on Facebook. Was it Facebook? Yeah. Talking about, because it was in this, it was in a group that I was a member of as well, a Facebook group, and we got on to talking about Abbey Road and things like that. Never met him personally, like, but yeah, sadly missed. Great engineer. Yeah, so I think that might be one to keep. Now we're going into a bit of John Lennon and George Harrison and Julian Lennon, Just Like Starting Over, which was obviously John's comeback single, wasn't it, after being away for nearly 5 years. Kiss 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 by Yoko Ono was on the B-side. 1980, it's on Geffen Records. And to be honest, that doesn't look like that's ever been played. Or if it has, a handful of times. Kiss Kiss Kiss, Yoko Ono, B-side. But that is paper thin. Although having said that, in 1980, so even in 1980, picture covers for singles were still a bit of a rarity in the UK. You could get them, but not every single that was released would have had a picture sleeve. Fantastic song. Again, it's sort of very overlooked now by a lot of John Lennon fans. I've always loved it. I always thought it was a cracking song. Even before what happened, I thought it was a good song. I thought it was like a homage to rock and roll more than anything. I didn't realise it was about him and Yoko till after, sort of thing. I just thought he was reminiscing about when he was younger, you know, but which I think is in some of it. June and Lennon, Too Late for Goodbyes, quite easy to come by. Well, it was, but you look at that, you look how thick that is compared to the one from John. And this was what, 1984? Sounds a lot like his dad on this, doesn't he? And the B-side on this is Well, I Don't Know. Both cracking songs, which was off his debut LP, weren't they? On the famous Charisma label, but on this, by this time, it was also jointly owned by Virgin, JL1. Again, this doesn't actually look like it's ever been played. Does need a clean though. It's like for years and years and years, people used to slag Julian off, didn't they? Well, you just sound like your dad, but well, he would do because it was his dad. And then I know he always said he wouldn't do any Beatles songs, but he has since done a few Beatles songs, hasn't he? I think he did a version of Day Tripper, and he's done Stand By Me, hasn't he, which his dad also did. And then last year he did Imagine, and that was released as a single. And if you haven't got that, folks, I would highly, highly recommend that you go and get it. It's not cheap though. I think it's about £10 to £15. I think I paid about £13 for mine, but that's a different song. This is what's in this lot here. Too Late for Goodbyes. Fantastic song, brilliant debut if you think about it. Was it about his dad? I think Julian has since said it was about his breakup with his girlfriend at the time, wasn't it? More than anything. George Harrison, all those years ago. Talking all about love. When they treated you like a dove, you were the one who they said was weird all those years ago. On Dark Horse, George's own record label. I always thought this was a nice label, to be honest, when it gets into focus. And the B-side is Writings on the Wall, which I think both of these were on somewhere in England, weren't they? That looks like it's like a promo, but it's not. I think that's just the way it came out, eh? George's little tribute, wasn't it, to John? Although originally it had slightly different lyrics, didn't it? It was a big hit in the UK, but nowadays it's not the single that people very often talk about from George. I don't know why. The video was brilliant because the video had got all bits of the Beatles and stuff in it, and a lot of it was just George and John, wasn't it? Yes, I know they had the differences and the fell out, and you know, all the crap that went off with Apple, but I think deep down, I think George loved John, and I think John loved George. I think they were like brothers. Yes, they went through a rough time. But, you know, if you look at some of the early footage of the Beatles, John is usually more in conversation with George than he is with Paul. She loves you. Yeah, she loves you, yeah. Quite a few copies of this, folks, so I will just go through them dead quick. I think this is the original one. I think this is in the original sleeve as well. And there's quite a few label variations of this as well, and depending on which one you got, depends on how much it's worth, apparently. This is the Parlophone Co. in there, made in Great Britain, and this is like what they call the fat sort of like label. stick. It's quite bold into it. She Loves You, and what was the B-side to this? I'll Get You. I'll get you, I'll get you in the end. Fantastic song. Sort of like the song that broke the Beatles in Europe, wasn't it? She Loves You. Where in America it was I Once Hold Your Hand, wasn't it? I bet that is worth quite a bit, just this company sleeve on its own, because I do think that is an original one. Now we've got another copy, which is in a different, this is a new sleeve, but can you see the difference there? Look, that's smaller, isn't it? Smaller to that one. Get both in shot. So I don't know if that means that's a later copy or not. Northern Songs Limited, Northern Songs Limited. So there's that one. Then there's that one. Then there's that one. She Loves You. These are all She Loves You. That's again the smaller like style. That's the biggest style. And then we've got I Want to Hold Your Hand. Now on here somebody's put this is a Oracle pressing, so it means wasn't pressed by EMI. Oracle was like a budget label there, wasn't it? I think. I Want to Hold Your Hand, by the way, this is original. And This Boy. Oh, and This Boy. Not a bad condition, to be honest. But if that is a contract pressing, that could be worth a few pounds, Yeah, it's not won't be enough for me to buy a house or to buy a Rolls Royce or go on a world cruise or something like that, but it's worth a hell of a lot more than what I paid for it. I think I'm going to have to do a bit more research on that one. Another copy of I Want to Hold Your Hand. This isn't in the original sleeve. That is the original sleeve. This is a reproduction sleeve, and I know it's a reproduction because I put it in it. Which you can buy off eBay and places like that. They're not that expensive. They just make the records look a bit better being in a Parlophone sleeve, I think, than just being in a white sleeve. This isn't in that good a condition there. It has got quite a scratch there, but you can't feel it. This Boy. Can't see no tax codes on it. Although that has got a tax code on it. I tell a lie. MKT. Very, very faint. MKT. So that's another thing with the Beatles records, depending on if they've got tax codes on it, some of the tax codes can actually make the value of the record go up, which is a bit daft, really. I'm going to have to invest in a book, aren't I, with all these tax codes and things. Right, Can't Buy Me Love. Oriole. Is it Oriole then, not Oracle? So this is Oriole contract pressing, it says on there. I can't really see any difference, The only thing is, it's like on this, there's like a ridge around there. Don't know if you can see it, and that is quite prominent. I think it is on all the Beatles records to a certain extent, but yeah, that is, and that is a really, really thick vinyl record as well. Can't Buy Me Love. Can't buy me love. And you can't do that. Again, fantastic coupling. That is in good to very good, I'd say. Nothing better than very good. Probably could do with a clean, but again, that's one that is going to need more research. Can't Buy Me Love South African. Really? It says there. Yeah, it is actually. because it's got a different, slightly different catalogue number. It's got 45 SDP 304, speed 45. Lennon McCartney, printed in South Africa by EMI SAPYT Limited. You can see all that. Try not to get a glare on it. You can't do that. So that one might be worth something. Do you know something? I haven't. You're seeing a lot of these for the first time with me. The ones we featured last week, I did sort of like know what was in them. It was all the same job lot, by the way. That could actually be worth a bit of money. Like I say, not enough to change my lifestyle or anything like that, but that on its own is probably worth more than what I paid for all these singles put together, which was £30, which I thought was for about 50 singles, but I think there's about 80. I think there's about 80 now. Looking at these, I think there's about 80. A Hard Day's Night, which looks like a UK original. No, this is South African as well. Yeah, this is a South African version. 45 SPD 331. Oh my word. Yes, it does need a good clean. Because on the B side of this is All My Loving. Weird. Again. And looking at it, if you look, their sign is different, isn't it, to the Parlophone sign. I don't know if I can do it like that. Where that is like a pound sign, that is like a cross between the HMV and the Parlophone. Oh, I mean, unfortunately, this isn't in very, very good condition, but is that worth more than a British copy, though? Even in the condition it's in? Probably, isn't it? Because if you collect out, if you live in Europe, I won't just say the UK, but if you lived in Europe and you're a bit like me and you want to start getting like labels from around the world, you'd buy that, wouldn't you? Whether it's in excellent condition or not, you'd buy it until you could find a better copy. Or would you ever find another copy of that? I didn't even know that existed, A Hard Day's Night with All My Loving on the B side. Strange. Yeah, because that says Northern Songs Limited. On the UK version, folks, it says Northern Songs Music Limited. That one's not in that good a condition though. Things We Said Today's on the B side of that, by the way. Again, a fantastic pairing, isn't it? I know these aren't in the original sleeves because, like I say, I bought some off eBay, so I know this is one I bought off eBay, but they just make them look a little bit better, don't they, than being in a white sleeve. I Feel Fine. This is in an original sleeve. UK copy. With still got the Parlophone credits, Parlophone Co Limited on the inner rim. KT tax code, which you probably won't see. I Feel Fine and She's a Woman. What a great pairing of songs. Again, it's not the most rare Beatles record, is it? But we have found a few, though, haven't we, folks? We have found a few rare records that I didn't actually know was in here. Then we've got Help. Northern Songs NCB, it says on this one. And now it's changed to the Gramophone Co Limited on there. Although it's still Parlophone. Because EMI changed its name basically. I'm Down. Again, fantastic couple of the songs there, isn't it? On par with I Feel Fine and She's a Woman, I'd say. Technically could have been a double A side. Don't think it was though, was it? This next one was, which again looks like it is in the original company sleeve. The only thing that spoils this is somebody's put a sticker of the name on the bit on the B side, but Gramophone Co. The Gramophone Co. Some of these from 1965 will say the Gramophone Co. on them, and some will say the Parlophone Co. Just here. Right. But the ones to look out for are the one that's saying both. So one side will say the Gramophone Co. Limited, and the other side will say the Parlophone Co. Limited, or vice versa. And they can be worth quite a few pounds. Can be worth quite a bit of money. That one's not in brilliant condition. It's not bad. Let's say that being there just puts that off. But it has got a KT tax code in the centre, which you probably can't see. Oh, you can. Which was the A side. We Can Work It Out, or Day Tripper. I would say it's We Can Work It Out. But it was classed as double A, wasn't it? Another version here. Gramophone Co. Limited. Yeah, it says the Gramophone Co. Limited on both sides. That looks like it's had a sticker on or something there. That has got a KT tax code very, very faintly there, but that has got some hairline marks on it. So, still nice though, aren't they? Not many to go. We've got 2 more to go, folks. So shall I stop it and do the last 2 as another video? This is Hello Goodbye, made in Great Britain, which is actually in really, really nice condition. Little faint scratch just there, or mark, hairline mark, which they got from going in out of the sleeves, didn't they, half the time. So, Hello Goodbye, the Christmas #1 in the UK for the Beatles in 1967. Quite a catchy tune, wasn't it? You say goodbye, I say hello. And on the B side you've got I'm the Walrus, one of the best songs John ever did, I think, with the Beatles. But that B side looks like it's never been played. Strange, isn't it? The B side looks like that it's never been played. And I think this is the original sleeve, but I could be wrong. But it does say 24th of the 11th, 67 on there. Somebody's kind of written in. So I presume that is the original sleeve for this. Or contemporary sleeve. Yeah, because it's got the Beatles Oldies but Goldies on it, so a single advertising LPs and advertising record tokens. That's actually quite intriguing. That is quite intriguing. And lastly, we've got one on the good old Apple label, and this is Let It Be, which I think might be a reissue. Might be. The way to tell is, if you look on the B side, no, yeah, it is an original, because on the B side, You Know My Name, Look Up the Number, has got 2 like matrix numbers, and you'll have that one there, and then you get one there that's crossed out, which was Apple 1002 or something, wasn't it? Because originally this was going to be a Plastic Ono band single, wasn't it? Or John wanted it as a Plastic Ono band single. You Know My Name with What's the New Mary Jane on the B-side. So it was mixed, and it was actually going to be a single, and this is the edit that would have been the single but credited to the Plastic Ono Band. I don't think it affects the value that much, and if it does, it's not going to be like mega bucks difference, I don't think. Oops. Yeah, this was the Beatles' last single in the UK, Let It Be, by the way. Didn't get to #1, but this is a different version than to the version that's on the Let It Be album. This is the George Martin produced version, where you get, on the album, you get the Phil Spector overproduced version, don't you? A strange coupling. I always think it's a strange coupling, but it does work. Released in 1970, a year after it was actually recorded, Let It Be, wasn't it? And You Know My Name, Look Up, the number goes back, the recording to that goes back to 1967, if I remember rightly. Although they did do overdubs in 1968 and 1969 to it, you know. So, yeah, credited to the Beatles, and it was the Beatles, don't get me wrong. Well, it was John and George once, I think, Paul in places, but nearly came out as a Plastic Ono Band single, and that would have been the A-side. Could you imagine that being the A-side? Anyway, folks, that's it. I'm sorry it's gone on so long. I hope some of these records have impressed you. They have me, honestly. I didn't realise them South African ones was in it. And there's a couple of like contract pressings, isn't they? Right, so all those singles, those which I thought was 50, but I now think is more like 80, cost me £30 for the whole lot. So that's like 30p a record, isn't it, basically? Why I've bought them? Well, I bought them because I got fantastic price, to be honest. The other reason why I bought them, technically I didn't need any of these. These couple here, the contract pressings and the South African ones, I will definitely be keeping. I will definitely be keeping them and doing some more research. The rest of them, I've actually bought as spares. Not spares and repairs, spares or stroke maybe to resell. Maybe, and that is a big maybe. If you're new to this channel, hello by the way, if you're a regular viewer, you will know that I'm toying with the idea of probably doing a record fair sometime this year, just to get rid of some of the stuff that I don't basically play anymore, or copies of albums that I've got more than one copy of. I've got quite a few Beatles albums down there that aren't in tip-top condition, don't get me wrong, but I've probably got 300 albums down there, Beatles albums. Not on those two shelves there, on the third row. There's each one of these holds, or each one of them holds roughly 100, right? And I've got 1, 2, 3, and then I've got some more there. So I've got at least 300 Beatles albums. Possibly might be going to record fair. I still don't know whether I'm going to do it or not. Then there's lots of records that I don't play anymore, which aren't Beatles, you know, the run-of-the-mill stuff that are probably only going to be worth about £1 or £2 or maybe £3 at the most anyway. The Beatles stuff is going to be worth something, isn't it? No matter what, it's worth something. The Beatles will sell. Whether I price these up for £1 or £5, I think the majority of these will sell, to be honest. Though that's got a sticker on there saying £5 anyway. £5, very good plus bit of SN. SN means surface noise, doesn't it? I haven't put that on, by the way. That's how it's come. So, yeah, I would say that probably is worth £5. I would say that's probably worth £5 for saying it's not in the picture sleeve, but it is. The one that's got the crossed out matrix or matrix numbers on it for the B side. So I would say that's probably about £5. So like I say, I think there's around 80 LPs, sorry, 80 singles I got there for £30. So if I sold them for £1 each, I've still made a lot of money, haven't I? But I won't be selling them for £1 each. If I sell them, I will clean them all, play test them all, and then I probably will do something like, if I'm going to resell them, which at the minute is still up in the air, to be honest, I would probably write something like that on it, put a price, put what I think it is very good, and then if there's a bit of surface noise on it, there's a bit of surface noise on it. If there's a few marks on it, you put some marks, don't you? But I would say that's about right for that one. That one I don't know. Hello Goodbye, I'm the Walls. The B side looks like it's never been played. The A side looks like it's hardly been played, but it's an unusual sleeve, isn't it? So this sleeve might be worth more than the record. But if I do decide to do it, I will keep you informed anyway, folks. So check out my videos. If you've liked this video, do me a favour. If you're not subscribed, please subscribe, because you know that helps to build the channel up. If you are subscribed, leave us a thumbs up. If you've not subscribed, leave me a thumbs up, because that helps with the YouTube aneurysms. Sorry. And obviously, if you want to leave a comment, please leave a comment. I do try to answer most of the comments, depending on what work patterns I'm on. And at the minute, my computer's gave up the ghost today. I was on it for 3 hours and it kept switching on, but it wouldn't let me do anything. So I think I've got to buy a new laptop. So as always, I hope you've enjoyed this. Thank you to everybody that is subscribing and supporting my channel. Like I say, if you're not subscribed and you've liked it, just think about subscribing, because it is free. It doesn't cost you anything. If you want to leave a comment, leave a comment. And that's about it. A few shout outs to just a few people that have been supporting me over the past year and a half. There's my old mate Beetle Brad. There's Mr. Ellie Records. Check those two sites, because they used to show some really nice records and rare records. There's my old pal Beatley Tones Beatles channel. Again, if you like your Beatles, he's the man to go to. There's Toby Jackman. He has got a channel that he like buys and sells records, you know, so that's one to look out for. He does find some good stuff though, must admit. He does find some really good stuff. Beatle Man 69 in America. There's loads of you. If I've missed you, I'm not being funny, but if I actually mentioned everybody's channel that I watched this video, would go on for about 3 hours. So that's just a few shout outs. There's me, Mr. Mayo, as well. You know, there's loads of you. There's Andrew Dixon. Who else is they? God, hundreds of us, isn't there? There's hundreds of us. Not just Beatles, but if you like record collecting as well. Rachel's Ghost. That's the one I was thinking of. If you haven't got anything to do in the afternoons, well, if it's usually in the afternoons in the UK, I think it's like sort of tea time in the countries he's in. I think he's in Canada, but I could be wrong. I think he's in Canada. Fantastic channel. If you're having a crap day or something like that, watch it. You'll probably walk away with a smile. It's not just about record collecting. Well, it is, but then they'll go on to other topics as well. It usually has a few people like with him as well, like in little you know, I don't know how you do it, but like he'll go, and now here's so and so, and then this person will suddenly appear on the screen. Very funny and witty in places. I don't know if it's supposed to be, or if it's just the way it comes across, but that is one I really do enjoy watching. That I usually come away with a smile on my face when I've watched it. So yeah, Rachel's Ghost, that is one to check out. If you've never heard of it, just check it out. The one is the Vinyl Vault. Quite a small channel. He just like shows you, he goes to car boots or record fairs or thrift stores and places like charity stores, you know, and he'll go through. He shows some good records. One I've just sort of like come across is one called Planet Earth Records, which is, as it says, it's an online, basically online records store. Doesn't say how, it'll just like, there'll be background music and you'll just go like that, sort of thing. So you will get a very sort of like brief look at the records, but it does have some really nice records. The other one is the Brum Reseller. Very interesting chap actually, the Brum Reseller. He's got quite a few fingers and quite a few pies, putting it politely, so I'm not taking mickey when I say that. He's got a record store called Music Is The Answer, which is somewhere Birmingham way. He's got a stall in an antiques centre called Red Brick, I believe. So he does like buys and sells records, but then he buys and sells other things off car boots and stuff like that. And he's also got a taxi company at the minute as well. So he's a very busy guy, but he's also quite a clever chap if you think about it, to be doing all these separate sorts of things, but then everything is included in the videos, if that makes sense. So Brum Reseller, hello. And that's going to be it for today. This has gone on way too long now, and it's probably going to take about 3 hours for this to download. So when you watch this, it'll probably be Sunday tea time. It's actually Sunday dinner time now, just gone 12 o'clock. So please stay safe. Remember, you are the Beating Beetle Dave. If you're not subscribed, just think about subscribing, please, because that helps me promote the channel. And you know, once we get a bit bigger, we can start to do live streams from record shows or car boots and things like that, which are, you know, that's the next thing I want to do. And I do want to buy some sort of license which you can get through YouTube, so I can play records. At the minute I can do them on shorts, but if, you know, I don't want to infringe copyright and things like that, but I think you can buy some sort of like license where it costs you so much a year to have it, but then if you play a record, then if that record, whoever owns that record, say if it's a Beatles record or a David Bowie record, they will get some sort of royalty. I think that's the way it works, but I think it is quite expensive to get this license. But fingers crossed, folks, we can get there. And then that might even be another channel then. It might not just be Beatle Dave's, you know, it might not just be the Beatle Dave channel. It might be Beatle Dave the Record Collector Spins channel. I don't know. You know, there's lots of things I want to do. Peace, love and happiness to you all. Stay safe, whatever you're doing. Sorry it's gone on so long. If you made it to the end, well done. I bet you've made it to them Beatlebad, haven't you? I love you all, and that's it. Please stay tuned, because there will be upcoming videos in the next few days, but probably not another one today. And then I'm at work. I'm on a strange shift pattern, but you don't want to know that anyway. So until next time, it's bye bye. Love you all. Bye.